How's it going, people? It's your boy Perfection back again with another video. Don't try to be right, strive to be righteous. Today's topic is Corona. It's about time that I made this video because I've seen a lot of people and they seem to be quite Corona happy. Now, what do I mean by Corona happy? If I went to a neighborhood in America and say I was sitting down in someone's front room and then all of a sudden a gunshot went off and I was like, what the hell's going on here? And I was kind of shocked to hear a gunshot. Maybe it was multiple gunshots. Okay, maybe it sounded like a drive-through or something like that. Maybe it was something similar to a western where I'm sitting down in someone's house and all of a sudden gunshots go off and they say, oh no, that's a regular thing that happens around here, man. And I say, well, why is that? And they say, brothers are trigger happy around here, man. Brothers be trigger happy, yo. So let's ditch the word trigger and let's just say Corona. Are you Corona happy, guys? You know, I was standing outside of a shop the other day and some guy says to another guy, because he pushed in, there's the 2 meter distance, and some other guy decides to kind of push in. So the guy says to him, but he knows him, it was a joke. He goes, listen, man, don't let me have to punch you. He goes, don't let me have to punch you up, you know I'm before you, so don't try force your way to the front of the queue. Don't try going before me. Yeah, I will knock your head up. But they were just joking around with each other. But I turned around to some guy and I goes, is this guy Corona happy or something? But let's get into the story because there's quite a few. Back in the day, there was a movie called The Stand by Stephen King. I'm sure it was The Stand. Basically, what it was about the end of the world. People wake up one day and there's some sort of deadly disease that's killing off a lot of people. Millions of people die, and out of the millions, there happens to be, because this video is based in America, really. It's based upon the whole set or country is America. Out of the millions that die, say only 1,000, a few thousand, no, probably about 1,000 actually, a few thousand survive. In the movie, they come to realize after a while that it's kind of like a demonic plague. And as people are dying, you've got this guy walking around, which in the movie is representing the devil, and he's kind of gathering the thieves, the killers, the pedophiles, the rapists. He's kind of gathering a group of all of these people. Some of them are trapped in not burning buildings, but some of them are trapped in jails and things like that, and they can't get out. And he walks up to the jail and he says, listen, I know you're trapped behind bars now. Everyone's dead in the jail. You're not going to be able to get out of this place, but I can set you free. If you follow me, I will open this door for you now and set you free. Otherwise, you'll die of starvation, and no one's going to come to your rescue. So some of them have no choice, and they choose to follow the devil, and he opens the door for them, and they end up joining part of his crew. Then there's another side of people that are good, and what happens is the good people have this dream, and in the dream there's this black woman. This is kind of like an angel, and she leads them. She tells them all to gather at a certain place where they'll all be safe. A lot of them are unaware, though, that the devil was also gathering an army too. But forget about that. I'm just telling you what The Stand was like. But that's the first thing I thought of when this whole Corona thing kicked off. And the reason why is because it's such an intelligent disease. It's one that we literally can't see. And in the beginning, it was a question of how are people catching it? Because when it first arrived in China, and the news got out, this was in January, I believe, January or February, the UK was well aware that the disease is out there. And what they did is they showed an atlas, and they showed China on the map, and they said, right, they had this little red bleep, and it kept on bleeping, and it was like, right, China, right now in China, there have been reported cases of, say, 1,000 people. And then it showed literally just China on the map. Within a matter of weeks, it suddenly spread to, I think it was it Italy or Spain, some country like that. And basically, month by month, Britain was almost advertising it or showing the progression of the virus spreading until finally it arrived in Brighton. The point I'm trying to make is that in the beginning, a lot of people thought that it was just a case of if someone coughs in your face, then you catch the disease. So as long as someone's covering their mouth, there's no way of you catching it. But then when the death rate started going up from 300 a day to 400 a day to 500 a day to 600 a day, people started to question, wait a minute here, could it be more than just someone coughing in your face? There was a few people that still, held on to that belief that, as long as someone doesn't cough in my face, I ain't going to catch it. But it just didn't make sense. It's like, if we know how it spread, which is by coughing, apparently, okay, and maybe by contamination like hands and things like that, then how is the number of deaths still continuing to rise? But the point I'm trying to make to people is that it's very scary. Just like the movie The Stand, it became very scary to know who was going to catch it, who wasn't, who was going to die from it, who wasn't going to die from it. I think that people have still got to a point now where they've become, I think people have slightly now become a little bit complacent because more people are walking the streets quite boldly now. Because the numbers have started to go down slightly, and a lot more people are wearing masks, people have become a little bit more complacent. And that's the whole purpose of this video, is that I think people have become a little bit too confident. And in the midst of it, just like The Stand, remember I was saying about the bad people in The Stand? You've got these people that are corona happy, and what I mean by that is that, they're driving their vehicles, and the least little thing, they're speeding up to someone and suddenly, doing all of this and intimidating them and beeping their horns and ready to jump at their vehicle and fight and things like that. If someone pushes into a queue, they're overreacting, looking to... I was in a queue where this woman pushed in, and this guy was like, listen, the way the guy was speaking to this woman is like she was a full-grown man, like he was willing to spark her out. And I had to look at the guy and think, what you doing, kind of thing. Don't be silly, she's a woman, I know I've said that guys should defend themselves against women if they're being attacked by them, but you can't bully women. And I think that's something I need to clear up in this video. Yes, I have said to men you should defend yourself against women if they're attacking you, but I've never said to men they should walk around bullying women because they're bigger and stronger. That I've never said that at all. You have to be some sort of a weak coward in order to be bullying women, and I have to get that out there. It's just amazing how everything kind of ties in to The Stand. And the latest thing that I've been seeing, which is very important, is China. Someone sent me a video of it was about 5 Chinese men beating one black man with these poles. And at first I was shocked. I thought, why were they beating him? When I come to actually do the research on it, it was because that there was a whole bunch of foreigners that were trapped in other countries when the corona hit, and they were unable to fly back to their countries, so they were trapped. After about a month or 2 months of being trapped in these countries, they were then able to get some sort of airline that were able to kind of fly them back. Okay, it's not everyone that could afford to suddenly lose their flight and then suddenly come up with £500-600. Not to mention, it's not every airline that was refunding their flights. I think they said that certain airlines, if they were to cover the costs of the delayed or missed flights for people, it would be billions. It would amount to billions, maybe even trillions. That's how much the corona's hit. But anyway, people were trapped in these countries. Some of them finally got to fly back to their own country, and some of them, being Chinese nationals, meant that they came back to China. Now, out of 100% of people that flew back to China, 10% of them happened to be black. Now, them being trapped in these countries them being trapped in another country for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was, a month or whatever, meant that some of them developed or caught the coronavirus. So when they went back to China with it, some of them had it. For some crazy reason, from what I heard, it was because an old Chinese man, 76 or in his 70s, I think a black person, African descendant, went into his shop and he caught corona from this black person. Because of this and maybe one or two other events, Chinese people then started walking around beating up on black people. When I heard this, I was shocked. I still am shocked, because they started saying it was xenophobia. Now now this is very important how I word this, because this is very important. When Trump got on the news about 2 months ago, I started saying this is a Chinese disease. One thing someone close to me turned around and said, someone black, they turned around and they said to me, listen, what Trump is doing is wrong. I said, well, why is that? He said, well, he's calling it a Chinese disease. He says, doesn't he know by calling it that now Chinese people will be attacked around the world? They're going to be beaten up. In fact, they have been beaten up. You know what I turned around and said to that person? I said, listen, you shouldn't really get involved in all of that, because at the end of the day, China is an extremely racist country, especially towards black people. So, when you're sticking up for these Chinese people, saying that Trump's being racist towards them and everything else, you shouldn't, because at the end of the day, they don't care for you. China does not care for black people. Okay. The reality of it is, and I can guarantee you this, that when those Chinese people were being bullied and beaten and spat on or whatever it was, if there's anyone that would have came to their aid, it would either have been white people, probably white British people, especially if it was over here. It would have been probably white British people that would have came to their aid, or black people that would have come to their aid. So it'd been one or the other. One thing I can say about Britain is that we do have a few racists and NFs and National Front and BNP, whatever you want to call them, UKIP and all of that, but we do have certain bona fide heroes here, white and black, that don't mind putting their life on the line to save another person. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, guys. I've seen it, and I can tell you that when those things probably did kick off, it was probably black people or white people that were willing to put their life on the line for these Chinese people. Getting back to the story, so that's when Trump started mentioning those things and xenophobia was going around. Now 2 months later, you got these foreigners that have come back from other countries that were there trapped. They've gone back to China as refugees. Some 10% of them are black. Now the black ones are sitting down in their homes. I want you to imagine this very carefully now, guys. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about it. Imagine you're sitting down in your home. All of a sudden there's a knock at the door. Yeah, it gets louder. Open up the door, they say. Open up the door. You're scared. You've got your wife and your children in the house. You jump up out of your bed and or maybe in the daytime you jump up and you run to the door and you say you open the door and there's police, and the police say get out, and they start manhandling you and they say get out, and they may even beat you with a truncheon. Now this is the police. I want you to imagine this. You're sitting down in your home, there's a loud knock at the door. You're shocked to see who is this person banging on my door. You're slightly worried and everything else. You go to the door hesitant, prepared for what it might be, and it's the police. And then the police tell you, manhandle you, and tell you to get out. They also then tell your wife and your kids to get out the apartment as well, or house, whatever it is. They then throw you out onto the street. Okay, and you're in shock. You're in, dismay. Like, what the hell is going on here? And then you look down the street to think, like, are they doing this to everyone? Is this what's happening? What's gone? Where is this come from? You look down the street to see where it's happening. Like, are they throwing everyone out of their homes? And you realize they're targeting you strictly because you're black. This has nothing to do with anything else apart from the color of your skin. How the hell is China someone that at the end of this whole corona business, someone that would have caused I think they said something like an estimated 10 million deaths gonna suddenly start targeting black people in their country. How they? Now I didn't want to kind of do this video because I didn't want to seem like I was xenophobic or anything like that. But you know, this is real here. This is happening. This is happening and it's real. You know, women and children thrown out on the street like lepers. Okay, some people being thrown out of their hotels and made to pay 30, I think it was 30 US dollars a night, and which they couldn't afford, by the way. 30 US dollars a night, that works out to be what, 300 US dollars in 10 days. These things are happening, you know. But what I will say to people, because I don't want this to be kind of a negative video aimed at China, because like I've said to people already, and I think I'll go into that into my next video, is that evil comes in all shapes and forms. It really has nothing to do with skin color. And a lot of the times fear, you can kind of, and I want to get into that in the next video that I do as well, you can kind of in terms of the breakdown between, well, I'll try and do another video because I don't want to, you know me, I don't like to go too long into videos. But what I end it on is that it's shocking to see China do this, because 2 months ago the person that I was sitting down with was so, oh my gosh, how can they so humanitarian, how can they treat Chinese people like this? And within the blink of an eye, and to be honest with you, I've sent that person a late text and said, now look at things now look at things. You know, do you understand why I said these things in the first place? Why Trump may have been spot on when he said, you know, said these things. You know, am I condoning it? Is it tit for tat? It's not a tit for tat thing. Was Trump right when he said the Chinese flu and this and that? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know whether Trump should have said, right, should have worded it differently, more politically correct. To be honest with you, because he is a president, maybe he should have worded it a little bit more politically correct. You know, but what I said to the person at that time was, listen, don't feel too sorry for them, because at the end of the day, they don't feel too sorry for us. That's what I said, and what I said came to fruition, or tuition, whatever, fruition. All right, I'll see you around for the next video. Peace out.